A new tide is rolling in. The game is changing once again.
It's easier to get to far-flung places with far less fuss. Just one flight, and I'm halfway around the world in Auckland, New Zealand.
Call it a rebirth. Call it a resurgence. The ultra long-haul flight is back.
Hello and welcome to CNN Business Traveller. I'm Richard Quest, this month reporting from Auckland, New Zealand, or to be more precise, from the longest flight in the world, from Auckland to Doha.
I can't help but be excited as I get underway today.
It looks innocent enough. Flight QR921, Qatar Airways to Doha. Can you check this in to Doha?
Flights lasting 10, 11 or 12 hours are nothing new.
Oh, it's getting a little bit on the heavier side.
What's changed is the return of the ultra long haul. Flight durations of 15, 16 and 17 hours. Qatar Airways now claims the bragging rights for the top spot, the world's longest, with its new Doha to Auckland route. We're focusing on the return flight today, from Auckland back to Doha. Wheels up are at 14:40. And we'll be touching down at Hamad International after an expected 17 hours, 30 minutes. 14,550 kilometres, more than 9,000 miles.
Flights that are so long, they're testing the logistics of the airline and the endurance of the passengers and crew.
It will take a sizable crew indeed to make this happen. 4 pilots and 15 cabin crew are on board. Enough to service the flight and cover the rotating rest periods.
It's gonna be fun, let's do it, right?
See you on board.
See you there.
I'm to board. Joining me on this trip is Qatar Airways Group Chief Executive Akbar Al-Bakr. Both of us are ready to be part of history. Hang on though, we need to back up. There's more to the story than this flight.
Inaugural flight to Auckland.
Seems a shame not to. A few days ago, the crew and I, and the chief himself, flew the very same distance just to get to New Zealand.
And so, onwards.
We are focusing on the return flight because with the winds against us, it actually takes an hour or more longer.
Airlines don't start the longest flights in the world for sheer bragging rights. There has to be a commercial reason imperative to do it.
New Zealand was one of the destinations that we were lacking. We have huge demand from our network to go to New Zealand. More and more people want to come here, so it was the right time.
You're seeing more and more ultra long haul flights coming onto the market. What's the deciding economics of these flights?
The right mix of yield and of course the passenger demand. Passengers prefer to travel with one stop, and this is exactly what the ultra long haul flights can do.
Longest flight is all about preparation.
passenger demand is just part of what's driving this resurgence in ultra-long hauls. Qatar has competition in the skies. Gulf rival Emirates previously held the record for the longest flight, Dubai to Auckland, and Emirates won't be reducing thrust anytime soon. I sat down with Emirates president in Dubai.
The Auckland route is a fascinating one between yourselves and Qatar, isn't it?
Qatar Airways started recently. Is there enough for both? Well, time will tell. But clearly there is a demand. In 1996 we were originally given 4 flights a week, which we made a co-terminal point between Singapore and Melbourne. The notion then that we would have over 84 flights a week, most of which are 380s, into Australasia, Oceania, and going across the Tasman, would have been, I would have been considered slightly more off the wall than perhaps I am today.
Other ultra-longs are popping up around the globe. Etihad, Delta, Air India's ultra-long haul from Delhi to San Francisco has a quirk. When it crosses the Pacific, the distance is longer, but because of the winds, the flight time is shorter. Next year, Qantas adds a new route, Perth to London. The king will be Singapore Airlines when it relaunches Singapore-New York in 2018. About 10,000 miles and more than 18 hours in the air. We've seen this trend for the ultra-long haul before, 10 years ago. It came and went with higher fuel prices. Singapore's chief executive explains what's different now.
We'll be taking delivery of the A350 ultra-long-range aircraft, which promises to deliver 20-25% improvement in fuel efficiency, and that is going to be an aircraft that's going to make the mission possible.
On this flight, I'm riding the 777-200LR. It was built for these extra long trips. And there's another factor that must always be considered with ultra-long haul.
Once the fuel price reaches $130, $140 a barrel, any flight will become uneconomic. So, you know, this is a chicken and egg story. But at the end of the day, air travel is such a big part of our life that people, regardless what you'll have to pay, people have to travel by air.
For now at least, the market is hot. Qatar is sitting in a geographical sweet spot.
You can go anywhere, ultra long range, from Doha.
Thank you. Before you open, I'll be back with a glass for you.
The crew have settled into their routine, wrapping up the end of the first service.
The biggest challenge on a really long flight from the passenger's point of view, of course, how to kill the time between now and arrival.
These first few hours are the easy part.
Are we there yet?
The longest flight in the world has barely begun.